Hi, and welcome to My Story with CareCredit. We all have stories, but what makes these stories unique is that they are about people who are able to get life-changing treatment, procedures, or medical care for themselves, their family, and their pets. All of the people featured on My Story with CareCredit did it with their CareCredit credit card. CareCredit is a leading national healthcare credit card that can enable you to get many of the procedures and treatments you want now and pay over time with everyday promotional financing on purchases of $200 or more. CareCredit is accepted at hundreds of thousands of locations nationwide to pay for care whenever you need and want it. I'm your host, Amy Freena, and today we are going to hear the story of a large breed Rhodesian Ridgeback named Mia who suddenly lost the use of her back legs. Grab some tissues because this story made me cry.
Hi, my name is Eve and I've used CareCredit for 3 years. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my dog Mia. She was a Rhodesian Ridgeback. I had her from 3 months old. She was just the most frustrating puppy that I think that's ever lived. You know, she was free-spirited, she was pretty wild, and she just enjoyed every moment of life. We were living in a beautiful part of Utah. I had 2 dogs, Elvis and Mia, and we'd been out in the morning, they'd been playing in the stream. Then, that evening, I came to take them for their evening walk, and Mia couldn't get into the car. She just lay down on the drive, and she couldn't stand up. It turned out that she had an inoperable tumor on her spine, and in contrast to the fact that that morning she'd been running in a field and paddling in a stream, it wasn't what I wanted for my girl. I didn't have a CareCredit card at the time. I didn't know anything about CareCredit, and I had the money, but it was all in the UK, and it just had a time implications, and Mia needed immediate care. So the nurse at the animal hospital was the person who actually told me about CareCredit, and she was amazing, and within 10 minutes, I got approval over the phone for the credit card, and it just was such a relief because it was traumatic enough seeing that she was suffering even before I knew she was gonna die. And even having to think about money isn't something you want to do when it's your baby. You know, sod the money. Thank you, CareCredit, for allowing me to show Mia the love that she always showed me.
Hey, I'm Amy, and today we are here with Eve, who is one of our CareCredit card holders, and she's going to share a little bit with us about her CareCredit story. But first, I have to say that we are in downtown LA, in an older warehouse. There's a lot going on. It's raining for once in California. Hello.
I feel like I'm back at home in Manchester.
It feels that way, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. So I want to ask you, where does your CareCredit story begin? How did you first hear about it?
It started about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I was living in Utah, out in the back of beyond, with my 2 dogs, Mia and Elvis.
Okay.
And Mia was a large breed Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Okay.
And she was coming up to 10 years old.
Okay.
And all of a sudden one day, she lost the use of her back legs. She just,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was just horrific. I took her out for a walk in the morning, and she was running around, you know, playing in the stream, rolling in the grass. And that evening, I took her to put her in the car to take her out again, and she just lay down on the drive.
Oh no! What did you do? How did you feel?
Well, it was just, I mean, she was my baby. She was my firstborn. She was a year older than Elvis, and I got her at 3 months, and then Elvis, I rescued him when he was around 3 months a year later. So, you know, and everybody knew I was overly attached to Mia.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not healthy.
Okay, that's okay.
I have to say, it wasn't
We've
healthy.
all been there.
And people worried, because my husband had died 6 years before.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And people were, when that dog goes, you're going to be in trouble.
Oh, no.
Because I was even closer to her than I was my husband.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. So she's laying down in the back seat?
No, she was lying on the driveway.
Oh.
Lots of steps up to the house. We lived in a lovely little wood cabin. And, I couldn't get her back in the house. I had to go next door, get neighbours to help me carry her, because I just couldn't carry her. Over the next few hours, she just deteriorated. She was obviously in a lot of pain, just whining and just couldn't get comfortable. Didn't want to eat, which, there's something wrong when your dog doesn't want to eat.
Yeah.
So I had to go, it must have been gone midnight. And I had to wake up the neighbours next door and get them to help me carry her into the car and take her, over an hour's drive to Salt Lake City.
Oh, my gosh.
To take her to the animal hospital, because that was the closest place. And it was there, they thought it was a herniated disc and that it would be operable, but the x-ray was inconclusive and they needed to do an MRI. Because of her size, they couldn't use the animal hospital's MRI machine. I think they actually took her to a zoo.
Really?
Because she was so large.
Oh, my gosh.
And
Mia.
it was just the costs were racking up. And, I didn't want to be worried about money at a time like that. Right. And I had money back in the UK, but it was going to take time to transfer it over, convert it into dollars, from pounds sterling to dollars.
And Mia needed help now.
She needed help immediately. I mean, if she had no quality of life, she couldn't use her back legs, and she was in pain. And, it was the middle of the night, and I was on my own with my two dogs in the animal hospital. And
you brought the other one as well?
I had to. He didn't like being left alone.
You legitimately had your hands full.
Yeah. So it was actually the nurse in the hospital said, look, you don't want to be worried about money at a time like this. Don't even worry about that. Apply for a CareCredit credit card. I'd never heard about CareCredit. So it was just amazing. It was approved within minutes of filling out the form. She phoned it through, got it approved, ticked all the boxes, and it just meant that I had that freedom to just focus on Mia and what she needed, and not to have to, think at all about money.
Right.
And I'm from the UK. We have the National Health Service.
Right.
If a family member or if we get ill, you don't want to think about money, and you don't have to think about money. You don't have to think about selling your home.
Right.
So having the CareCredit credit card really just gave me that security and that cushion.
Right, almost like a little bit of freedom.
Yeah, so it could literally all be about Mia and what she needed. And because the last thing, when, she was my fur child, and when your child is ill and in pain, no part of you wants to be worrying about whether you can afford whatever she needs.
Right, absolutely.
Worry about that later. What Mia needed was all that mattered to me.
Absolutely. So you're at the vet. You've gotten approved for the CareCredit credit card. You've gotten great promotional financing to help you carry this burden. How are you feeling at this point? Once she's going into surgery and okay, she's going to be all right?
Well, she didn't actually go into surgery. This was the thing. The x-ray was inconclusive. They thought it was a herniated disc.
So what was it?
The MRI showed that it was an inoperable tumour on her spine.
Oh my gosh.
So she was never going to be able to use her back legs. She was going to be in pain. She was on painkillers, but they weren't working because she was just whining constantly. And she was sat in a crate in the animal hospital, and I couldn't take her home. She'd lost control of bodily functions down there.
Of course.
Which was just...
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Poor thing.
In the morning that this happened, she'd been running in a field.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh
I
my
have
gosh.
pictures of her rolling in the grass like she was a puppy.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
to see her in a crate, it was, this is no life for my girl.
I'm so sorry.
So, but thanks to CareCredit, I got the MRI done, I got her diagnosed, and she suffered, you know, it all took about 72 hours. So I could make the decision really quickly to put her to sleep and show her the love that she'd always shown me.
Oh my gosh, you
And
are
CareCredit
killing me.
allowed me to do that.
Oh,
You know, there were no delays, everything happened, and the animal hospital were amazing too. Everything happened as quickly as it, you know, humanly could
right.
happen. So, you know, she had almost 10 amazing years of wonderful quality of life, and
Yes.
thanks to CareCredit, she really didn't suffer. So,
And
as a
thanks
mother,
to you.
Yeah.
Thanks to you, because you were a very
Yeah.
good mama.
I loved her more than I needed her.
Oh my gosh. I am so sorry. I'm trying to keep it together here. I can't even imagine going through that. And like you said, things happen, you know, and in the morning everything was fine. And then,
Yeah, no, it
Gosh.
was like that, and just having the security of the credit card, and you know the way it went. That if she'd needed the operation, fine, I could have got the operation. But when she didn't, at least, you know, the MRI on its own was, I can't remember how much it was, but because of her size, it was over $1,000.
gosh.
So just being able to say, yeah, the x-ray's inconclusive, go ahead, do the MRI. And it just meant I could let her go.
Yeah. You did everything you possibly could. Thank you for sharing that with us,
That's
and
okay.
maybe to hopefully change the mood a little bit.
Yes.
I'm curious what the other dog is doing there with you.
Oh,
Because at least you had another buddy there kind of
yeah,
helping
no,
you, and
Elvis is amazing.
Elvis was like, Mom, we're
still-
in this together.
Yeah, this was 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, and Elvis is now coming up to 12 years old,
Wow.
and he is going strong.
He is going strong.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
his mama.
Yeah, he really is, and he's got a new little buddy now as
Oh,
well. We
who's the new one?
Because Elvis is from Texas,
Okay.
which is where Mia was from.
Uh-huh.
Rescued him down there, and his buddy, Atticus Finch.
Atticus Finch. Can you say that one more time? Because you say it so nicely.
Atticus Finch.
Okay, good. we got that.
He's a little Chiweenie
Uh-huh.
that I rescued just
Oh.
over a year ago here in LA. So yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I
He's
love
not
it.
too keen on Elvis, but Elvis
No.
seems to like him.
They're figuring it out.
They're figuring it out.
If you could finish this sentence for me, CareCredit made me feel, what would you say?
That's a difficult one.
Okay, we've got time.
CareCredit made me feel free to love my dog the way she deserved to be
love that.
loved. Yeah.
This really is going to turn into a tearjerker between the two of us. Thank you. I mean, seriously.
I think we ought to break out the wine.
Yeah, right, yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and we wish you a lifetime of happiness, and we just really appreciate it.
Oh, I wish the same to you. Thank you.
So much. Mia's story is so emotionally touching. CareCredit was happy to be able to help her pet parent show the love she had for Mia. Remember, CareCredit is a leading national healthcare credit card that can enable you to get many of the procedures and treatments you want now and pay over time with everyday promotional financing on purchases of $200 or more. CareCredit is accepted at hundreds of thousands of locations nationwide to pay for care whenever you need and want it. If you are interested in applying for a CareCredit credit card or would like to find a provider in your area who accepts CareCredit, visit us at carecredit.com.